Alright, so here we are, and we're checking the gas because I put the new coil on and started pulling it. I had spark, but it still wasn't firing. So I decided to take the carb off again, and when I opened up the carburetor, the gas that came out of it had water in it. So now I'm just going to drain the entire gas tank here. Check out those little beads of water in there. So that will definitely be a reason your engine stops running. Water's not good for your carburetor. So yeah, we definitely got some water in there. It's definitely pooling up on that edge over there. Look at that water. Oh, still got gas coming out. So put some fresh gas in and clean up the carburetor and get back to it. Alright, so I took off the carburetor and I've already cleaned it, but I forgot to turn the camera on when I did that, so I'm going to just kind of go over what I did. So here's the carburetor. Took the fuel line off and grabbed myself a half-inch wrench. Sometimes that nut is stubborn. Actually, that's the wrong size wrench. I put it back on there pretty tight. Get a socket on that thing. Okay, half-inch socket. There we go. Now when this comes off, there's a fiber washer. Don't lose that. That's important. And if you got to replace it, kind of expensive for a little thing like that. Take the bowl off now. And when I did it the first time, the gas that was in the bowl came out, and I could tell right away there was water in the gas. So we're going to slide this pin out now. Lift the float off. And underneath here you'll see is the float needle. That can just drop off. There's also a washer around here. Inspect that to see if that has any cracks or breaks in it. You might want to replace that. Now I just took carburetor cleaner and basically sprayed all around in here, which will come out there, and up in here and here, which came out over here, and just kind of like went over the whole thing with carburetor cleaner. One thing I want to point out, really important, this piece here has a hole that goes through at the bottom and up at the top. You want to make sure that these passages are clear before you put this all back together. So now that I have it cleaned, put the needle back on. Set it back down. Sometimes you need to replace the needle in seat, but I'm not going to do it this time around because I don't think that's the problem. Push this pin back in place. Like so. Put the bowl back on. Take the bolt here with the washer. And then snug it up. Not too much. Just brass. So now the carburetor's clean. We're going to put it back on the engine. Well, one thing I'm going to point out too is on this surface, that's the surface that goes along with the air filter side of the carb. this gasket here, I put a new gasket in there after scraping it off of here with a razor blade. That's an important gasket. That one's pretty easy to come by. So replace that gasket if you need to. Might be good to replace that gasket almost any time you take the carburetor off. This fuel line is looking pretty ratty too, so I'm going to get a new piece of fuel line and replace that, because I don't like the looks of the cracks on the end here. You know, this thing has probably never been replaced, so we're just going to take the clamps off, reuse those, and we're going to get a new piece of fuel line. And here's our new piece of fuel line. So alright, so now we've got some fresh gas in it. Get it all put back together, except for the air filter. We can leave that out for now. And let's put this in run mode. Prime it a couple of times. Give it some starter fluid, see what happens.